What's up, guys? Okay, in that video, the lady said that she wished more HVAC contractors would stand up and fight the situation. Now, I've been in air conditioning for 17 years, well, 18 years now. I'm actually in the process of studying for my contractor's test, which means I happen to have a copy of the very OSHA book that woman was talking about. So in the next day or two, I'm tired, I'm going to bed right now, but in the next day or two, we will go through and we will look up the breathing respirators, face masks, and we will confirm what the lady was saying in the video. For the people, like the woman that commented, common sense tells her that the lady was full of shit. If that lady that made that comment had even a dick hair of common sense, then she would fully understand that restricting your breathing restricts your breathing. It's pretty fucking cut and dry. So if you take too cheap of a filter, like I mentioned before, if you take too cheap of a filter, you hold it over the sink, you dump salt on it. If the salt falls through, dirt particles are going to get through because the dirt particles are smaller than the salt grains. Same thing with the breathing mask. What she was saying is the disease is so small, the breathing mask does not help you at all. The breathing mask, the disease will literally go right through the fucking breathing mask, okay? That's what she's explaining to you. But in the long run, because you inhale oxygen, you exhale CO2. By keeping your face and your nose and your mouth, everything covered, what you're doing is not only breathing in recycled CO2, but you're straining your heart. The same way that an air conditioner has a compressor, the same way your heart pumps blood through your veins, your air conditioning compressor pumps refrigerant through your copper line set. Okay? So if you restrict airflow from the evaporator coil is the lungs of the air conditioner. If you restrict air, let's say you put a filter in there that's too thick and it restricts air, from moving past the evaporator coil, you're going to stress out the heart of the machine, which is your compressor. If you cause that compressor to overwork itself, the oil heats up and it gets really acidic and starts doing internal damage to the compressor. Same exact concept that's happening when you cover your face and your mouth and you work that way. Elevated heart rates, elevated blood pressure. You're restricting your own breathing, which is straining out your heart. And what the lady is trying to say is OSHA is actually violating their own guidelines. So OSHA has their guidelines in a book, in print. Because their guidelines are in print, they are liable for their own guidelines. If enough people stood up and fought and got an attorney, you could sue multi-million-dollar corporations like Walmart. I've asked their employees, does Walmart make you wear the mask? And they said yes. Okay, so Walmart is making you do something that's bad for your health. That is a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit if the employees got together, took one of those OSHA books, and shoved it right up their fucking ass. And I'm talking about every employer that is enforcing their employees to wear masks. It's not a maybe lawsuit. It is a for sure fucking lawsuit that you have against them. Especially if you fucking die of a heart attack while on the watch. Bottom line is, if you don't feel safe wearing a mask at work, you don't have to work. And by law, they still gotta fucking pay you. You can't... You guys understand what I'm trying to say. They can't say, okay, well, you're only allowed to work here if you put a gun to your head and pull the trigger. The fuck kind of sense does that make? Because that's what they're doing. OSHA oversees all of this. It's their guidelines that they're ignoring. Their own guidelines they're ignoring. Now they're fining people for not wearing a mask. They're fining people for not killing themselves. But they're not fining the corporations for not doing the proper test before putting masks on the employee's face. I have all of those guidelines in that fucking OSHA book. Because OSHA put these guidelines in print, they are liable for them. Okay? So, don't wear a mask. If you are going to get COVID-19, you're going to get it regardless. Period. Why kill yourself in the process?